The Little Snowflake. High above the world, in the icy clouds where the air was crisp and the winds danced, a little snowflake was just being born. The tiny crystal sparkled as it spun and twirled, its 6 delicate arms forming in perfect symmetry. The little snowflake marveled at its beauty, but as it grew and the other snowflakes around it drifted closer to the edge of the cloud, a nervous thought crept into its mind. "What's happening?" the little snowflake asked a neighbor, a slightly larger flake with intricate loops and whorls on its arms. "It's almost time," the bigger snowflake said gently. "The wind will carry us down soon." "Down?" the little snowflake repeated, a quiver in its tiny voice. "But I don't know what's down there. What if I get lost? What if I don't belong?" The older snowflake chuckled softly. "Every snowflake belongs," it said. "Each of us has a purpose. When we land, you'll see." But the little snowflake wasn't convinced. It gazed down at the world below, blurry and distant, and felt very, very small. As the wind howled and swirled, the little snowflake clung to the cloud as tightly as it could. Around it, other snowflakes were leaping off the cloud's edge, carried by gusts of wind and tumbling toward the earth in a sparkling flurry. They giggled and shouted with joy, as if falling was the most exciting adventure in the world. But the little snowflake wasn't ready. "What if I melt before I reach the ground?" it whispered to itself. "What if I'm not pretty enough to be part of anything special?" The winds grew stronger and the little snowflake's grip on the cloud loosened. Before it knew it, a gust caught its delicate edges and pulled it away. "Oh no!" it cried, spinning through the air. "I'm falling!" At first, the little snowflake was too scared to open its eyes. The wind rushed past, whistling and swirling, carrying it up, down, and sideways. But then, curiosity got the better of it. Slowly, the snowflake peeked through its crystal arms. What it saw took its breath away. The world below was vast and magical, a patchwork of hills, forests, and glistening rivers. The sun peeked through the clouds, making everything shimmer. Other snowflakes tumbled around the little one, their unique shapes catching the light like tiny jewels. "Wow," the little snowflake whispered, momentarily forgetting its fear. It twisted and turned, trying to catch the sunlight on its own icy edges. For the first time, it felt a tiny spark of wonder. As the snowflake floated through the air, it noticed other snowflakes nearby. One of them, a plump and cheerful flake with stubby arms, spun closer. "Hello there," the new flake said, its voice bright. "First time falling?" The little snowflake nodded shyly. "Yes, and it's a little scary." "I get it," said the plump flake. "I was nervous too. But you know what helped me? Meeting new friends. I'm Frosty. What's your name?" "My name?" The little snowflake hesitated. It had never thought about having a name before. "I don't think I have one." "Sure you do. Every snowflake is special, so you must have a special name," Frosty said. "What about Sparkle or Twinkle?" "I don't know," the little snowflake replied. "I guess you can call me Little Flake for now." "Little Flake it is," Frosty said with a grin. "Come on, let's see where this wind takes us." Frosty and Little Flake tumbled together through the air, laughing as they spun in circles. Along the way, they met other snowflakes, a graceful, star-shaped flake named Glimmer, and a lacy, delicate one called Whisper. Each flake had its own unique design, and Little Flake couldn't help but marvel at their beauty. "You're all so amazing," Little Flake said. "I'm just plain." "Plain?" Glimmer exclaimed. "No way. Look at those arms of yours. They're perfectly balanced, and those little ridges are incredible." "Really?" Little Flake asked, feeling a tiny flutter of pride. "Of course," Whisper chimed in. "Every snowflake is one of a kind. That's what makes us special." As the group of snowflakes drifted closer to the ground, the world below became clearer. The hills were blanketed in white and children played in the snow, building forts and throwing snowballs. Little Flake watched in awe as the other snowflakes began to land, one by one, joining the sparkling blanket that covered the earth. "Come on, Little Flake," Frosty called. "It's time to land." "But what if I don't fit?" Little Flake asked. "What if I ruin the pattern?" "You won't ruin anything," Glimmer said kindly. "You're part of the pattern. Every snowflake has a place." Little Flake took a deep breath and let the wind guide it downward. It swirled and danced, finally landing softly on a snow-covered hill. The moment it touched the ground, a warm feeling spread through its icy edges. It wasn't fear or worry, it was belonging. Looking around, Little Flake saw that it wasn't alone. Millions of other snowflakes sparkled in the sunlight, creating a dazzling blanket of white. Together they made the hill glisten like a diamond. "You were right," Little Flake whispered to its friends. "I do belong." As the days passed, Little Flake noticed how the world interacted with the snow. Children laughed and played, animals left tiny footprints in the soft surface, and the sunlight made the snow sparkle like a sea of stars. Little Flake realized that it was part of something much bigger than itself. One day, a little girl scooped up a handful of snow to form a snowball. Little Flake found itself at the very top, peeking out as the girl gently placed the snowball onto the head of a snowman. When she stepped back to admire her work, Little Flake had the best view in the world. The snowman stood tall and proud, its button eyes twinkling and its carrot nose sticking out cheerfully. Little Flake felt like the most special snowflake of all. "See?" Frosty's voice echoed in its memory. "You're special just the way you are." Little Flake smiled, its icy edges glowing in the sunlight. It finally understood that every snowflake, no matter how small or scared, had a place in the world, and that place mattered. And so, Little Flake's journey ended where it truly began. Not in fear, but in wonder, joy, and the realization that it was one tiny, perfect part of a magical world. The end.